No Richie Rich today.
Oh shit, you press play. All right. What's
Yeah,
good?
what's up, Ross? What's good, man?
I'm chilling, man. I'm just waiting to get into this. I'm just waiting to get into this, man.
Uh, I'm gonna come out. I'm gonna come out blazing and swinging, bro. Because now it's time for us to get in the zone with this. This is why we don't cover boxing, man. And we need to go on a little quick soliloquy with that. It's because of shit like this. See, we was just talking about it right before we got on about us stiff-necked Israelites, man, and how we go back and forth against one another, right? And how we just constantly have issues within our own ranks. My problem is this. It's they doing this typical light-skinned, dark-skinned, Negro, nonsensical, ignorant, naive bullshit. Started with Terrence Crawford,
Right.
and Terrence Crawford's hatred and the fact that Terrence Crawford never could get accepted from the hood. Because you gotta understand, Terrence Crawford, like Gervonta Tank Davis, their upbringing in some way, some fashion, in some form is similar in some senses. Not all the way, but in some senses, in the terms of them growing, getting out the hood, them struggling, them having to make it, them using boxing as a way for them to get to the next level and becoming the men that they are today. The problem with Terrence Crawford is Terrence Crawford thought that he would get the same level of support that
Right.
Tank is automatically getting. But because he's not getting it, he has to show hatred. He has to show trollism against Tank. See, if you notice, once Terrence Crawford started talking about it, everybody else ran with it because this is the proverbial. And when I say this, you're gonna be like, "Damn, I didn't think he was thinking it like this." This is the Kendrick versus the Drake situation all over again, dog. Because you got the reason why I'm saying this is because, but in this instance, Terrence Crawford is the Drake. See, a lot of people
Right.
have this Drake mentality, right? They have this sucker nigga shit mentality, this bitch made mentality where they feel like, oh, I have to appease the white man. Not only do I have to appease him, but then I have to turn around and I got to shit on my brethren. So you took a knee in the Mean Machine fight. You damn near got knocked
Right.
down. Andre Ward was announcing the fight and called you out, called your rabbit ass out and said, yeah, they should have called a knockdown. He said it. And that's what I love about Ward. Ward always gonna call that shit straight.
Right.
He don't play
He
with
actually got dropped. He actually got hit.
Yes.
I wasn't even thinking about that because I don't even be thinking about Terrence Crawford. But yeah, him saying that and actually getting dropped. I'm sorry for interrupting you.
No, that's
Go
fine.
to show you how somebody win one big fight and they forget about all they low points.
I'm glad you did that. I'm glad you interrupted because
this literally applied to you too.
In this one, bro.
Yeah.
We're gonna be a little heated in this one. It's okay for us for our temperatures to raise up a little bit because they used to us dealing in a monotone fashion. But now on this live, man, and I'm glad you interrupted. You know why? Because now you just gave me another idea. Because of the simple fact is this: why are you gonna fix your rabbit ass mouth now to sit here and say, well, if he took a knee, they should have said he took a knee? Are you fucking kidding me? You not only did you not take a knee, you actually got knocked down. So
Right.
why didn't you remove from that round? Because when the shoe was on your foot, you didn't say nothing. When the boxing judges didn't say, hey, you was knocked down, you stayed quiet in shame.
Right.
You sat down there with Bomac. You and him looked at each other bewildered, which means baffled, which means look shocked in y'all damn face, wondering what the hell just happened in that last round. And when they slowed it down, they showed you getting knocked the fuck down. But then you're gonna bring up Tank. And here's the irony in it. If you go and look at the fight with Lamont Roach, his knockdown was very similar. It was Floyd Mayweather. It was like flash. It wasn't even like really a knockdown like that because his knee didn't even hit the fucking canvas. He just buckled like a motherfucker. It was like
he didn't even get hit. He didn't even get hit before he took a knee because something was going on with him. He wasn't even getting
Yeah.
hit when he took the knee. Yeah. Yeah.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, he didn't even get hit when he was taking the knee. So I would have seen other, but either whether you get hit or not, it's supposed to be a knockdown. Because at the time that Kell Brook took his knee, he wasn't getting hit at that time. He just was tired of getting hit.
Facts.
It's supposed to be a knockdown no matter what, whether you get hit or not. But Terrence Crawford shouldn't be the one saying this. It should be Andre Ward. It should be other. It shouldn't be him because this has happened to him.
Yep.
Floyd Mayweather couldn't even say nothing like that because Floyd Mayweather had a knockdown that they didn't count. When he had slipped and his glove touched the canvas when he was fighting against Zab Judah. He even had one they didn't count.
Yep.
They don't count it. It never happened. They didn't count it. But Andre Ward can say this because all his knockdowns counted. When Andre Ward got dropped, it counted. It should have been a knockdown. But Terrence Crawford, he doesn't have room to speak. He don't.
Yep. He don't, man, and it's disrespectful. And the reason why I say it's disrespectful is because why are boxing fans so? Why are they coming to woodworks? And here's the caveat that trips me out, bro. And I think you're gonna laugh at this, right? Forget boxing fans for a second. Let's talk about the fighters. A lot of these fighters got exposed last year. And they're the main ones talking shit about Gervonta Tank Davis. Devin Haney? Really? You got flatlined by Ryan Garcia. You got damn near embarrassed, man. You damn near got drugged in the ring by Ryan Garcia. Why are you even talking? You the last motherfucker to be talking. Keyshawn Davis. Right. You was just sitting here holding your face, tucking your face. You know how when somebody has bad performances in a fight, they go and they hold their face and they go and they tuck their face, you know, and then they and you know, it's that stupid look we do, you know, as Hebrews when we get embarrassed, right? We hold our face and we make our face get really tight because we know we got done the fuck up in the situation. He had that happen to him in his last two recent fights, and he tried to stay quiet when people was drugging him on social media, clowning him, saying, man, you ain't ready, man. If you fighting these lesser opponents and they're making you go tooth and nail in the ring, you ain't ready for Tank. And this is the problem that I have with boxing fans, right? They have what's called amnesia. They have what's called short-term memory. They were the same motherfuckers that said this shit, right? Then they're the same motherfuckers that turn around and when Tank has a fight with Lamont Roach, they the same ones saying, who the fuck is Lamont Roach? He ain't nobody. This is another reason why I don't even like cover the sport of boxing like that. Because the same people that's running their mouths, you could tell they're not really boxing fans like that. You could tell they're just going by what other people say. Because if they truly knew the sport of boxing, they would know the rich history behind Tank and Lamont Roach. Tank was trying to warn y'all and tell y'all, man, this guy right here is coming to fight. When Tank comes out of his mouth and says, man, I've gone tooth and nail with this guy. I've had hard fights with this guy. Lamont Roach explained how when they were 16 years old, which was the last time they fought, go and look at that amateur fight that they fought, man. These guys both ended the fight on nobody hit the canvas. They both ended the fight standing up, and Gervonta Tank Davis barely won that fight off of points. You fast forward from 16 all the way to 14 years later, Gervonta Tank Davis is 30 years old right now. The same outcome happened in the fucking ring. Them two knew what the outcome was going to be because Tank respected his opponent so much to the point where he trained his ass off. You could tell he trained his ass off, but he knew he was in for a hard fight, and he warned us that he was going to be in for a hard fight. Lamont Roach, if you look at the way he fights, you could tell he was going to give Gervonta Tank Davis systematically fits because he's a real fighter. And here's the other caveat. You got boxing fans saying, oh, if he was fought Shakur Stevenson would have performed better. No, I'm gonna be on wax saying Lamont Roach would have done even better. He would have made Shakur Stevenson look even worse. He would have made Keyshawn Davis look even worse than both of them. He would have made
Right.
Ryan Garcia look even worse than all of them. So for them to sit there and say, well, those fighters would have made him look worse, it's bullshit and fuck shit, especially with their recent performance. When you lose to Gervonta Tank Davis as a fighter, you don't have no room to criticize him in this fight.
Right.
You lose to Lamont Roach like Jamel Herring did, you have no room to criticize. All of these guys are either losers, or these guys have lost in a precarious way, or these guys have lost to the guy that beat them in a triangle situation. Like Devin Haney, you lost to Ryan Garcia, who lost to Gervonta Tank Davis. So it's like you double lost. You really don't have nothing to say. And then you have boxing fans that's jumping behind these same guys that really should be tucking tail and shutting the fuck up. But then they want to run their mouths. You want to know why they want to do that? And that's why I love what Tank said at the end of the post conference fight comments, right? You know what Tank said? And he said that shit so smooth. Tank said, you win some and you lose some. First they be on you, then they don't be on you, then they be on you again. That was so deep when he said that. That went over a lot of people's heads, man.
Right.
They didn't catch what he was saying. Basically, what he's saying is, you see, they was fucking with me now. They ain't fucking with me. But guess what? They're going to be re-fucking with me again.
Right. Because at the end of the day, the hate is really mostly coming from boxers that is around Tank Davis' generation or nearer generation.
Facts.
Nobody's saying that the decision was controversial.
Yep.
It was a good fight. It was a good fight. So why is a draw controversial? It's fighters making it seem like somebody got robbed because they want to hate. They was hoping dude would lose. They was hoping Tank would lose. So since he didn't lose, they want to throw shade on him because that's the only way they could throw shade on him. Because let's be honest, a lot of these fighters, they live their life constantly jealous of another fighter, man.
Facts.
Constantly. Majority of these fighters always find one fighter that they're jealous over.
Yep.
And Tank, he's one of them. Floyd's gone, so the people who Floyd endorsed, those are the people who they hate now because they can't hate on him no more.
Oh yeah. And this again speaks to Al Heyman's brilliance, right? And then the fact that in this current boxing climate, once again, Al Heyman gives you a quality fight. Why is he always giving boxing fans quality fights? And instead of them saying, you know what, we got a great fight, a great PBC fight, a great fight that showcased close back and forth, skill-wise, from one opponent to the next. You know what they turned around and did? They turned around and didn't bring that part up and didn't say thank you as a boxing fan for giving us a quality performance. You know what they turned around and said? Tank got exposed. Tank lost the fight. This was a shit fight. And then now you got some of the other ones turning around saying, oh, I told you Lamont Roach was going to do it. No, you didn't. Y'all was the same motherfuckers that was saying Tank shouldn't be fighting this bum. So how did he go from being a bum to now y'all getting behind him and acting like he was this and he was that? The only person who had Lamont Roach's back, if we're being honest, is Lamont Roach himself that believed in himself and his trainer. Usually in these situations, when you're dealing with underdog fighters, the only people that have their backs is them that believe in themselves and their team that's around them. Mm-hmm. Nobody else that don't care for these guys like that is checking for them. Because let's be honest, Lamont Roach had a namesake that nobody was caring for. But because he had a close fight with Gervonta Tank Davis, and because Gervonta Tank Davis has been a continual highlight reel and meme for opponents after opponents, they were looking for him to have a performance like this. But what you got to understand in boxing, like Andre Ward said, every fight ain't going to be a knockout.
It's not.
Some of these fights, you're going to have to grind these motherfuckers out.
Yep.
And he fought an opponent that is conducive to a style that gives him fits to where he has to grind the shit out.
The problem with black people dealing with, I say black because that's what most of ourselves with, even though that's not who we are. The problem with us is we don't understand how to counterparts.
Facts.
So when you see a black business, we will hold a black business to such a high standard that we don't hold any other business to. When black people go into a black business, they expect to be treated like kings. They expect the prices to be cheap. They expect to get deals. They expect to pretty much get things for free.
Exactly.
They pay their weight when they go into white establishments. They pay their
Facts.
weight. Mexican establishments, Chinese establishments. These people don't even treat them with respect. They keep going. The average black community has a Oriental store, whether it be a beauty supply store, has an Arab or an Indian gas station. It's all these
Mm-hmm.
different races in our community, and we go there even though we get bad service every time we go there. But
Facts.
if it's a black establishment, the first time they see something's not perfect, they'll find a reason not to support it.
Yep.
And it's the same thing with boxing. Um, we kind of want we kind of look for things to be wrong when it's a black owned establishment
Yep.
because it wasn't a knockout. Do you know how strong you got to be to demand a knockout? Because the fight wasn't a knockout. They want to hate against the PBC,
Yep.
but Top Rank and them have fights that aren't knockouts all the time.
Exactly.
Horrible fights where they're sloppy. The boxing is sloppy. They're wrestling. They're throwing elbows. They're falling all over the place. Black people
Hmm.
don't speak on these people. But
Hmm.
when it comes to the PBC, they know it's a black-owned establishment. They want everything to be perfect, and if it's not, they want to tear it down because they learned that from the white man.
Exactly.
We learned how to hate on our own people from the white man. Now we do it for them.
Yep. Yeah, you touched on a great point when you said that because that's exactly what it is, man. It's like, okay, Tank went all of these years um being endorsed by Floyd Mayweather. So now because of that, we have to hate him because we hated Floyd, and Floyd was able to basically rob the bank. And when I say rob the bank, now rob it in the sense that he literally did it in the sense that he was smart enough to know how to steer the career in his favor and then get out when he needed to get out. They same thing with Andre Ward. And no, if you notice with those two guys, boxing fans are always critical of them. Oh, Ward doesn't belong on this level of the list. You know why? Because he left on his terms. If Ward became a guy who started losing fights that and this is the stupidity of boxing fans, right? They go and end up having a high level fight with an opponent, but then they see the black man is shamed, right? He gets his ass whooped. You know what they turn around and say? They turn around and say, well, he fought hard. So now because he fought hard, I respect him. So you didn't respect him before when he was undefeated, but you respect him now because he lost a fight. He lost the fight. Mind you, keyword, operative word. He lost the fight. But because he lost the fight in a what? Respectful way, that is typical slavery language of how they used to treat us back in the day. If you lose with dignity, then it's like you won. But think of the operative words here. You lost with dignity. Did you really lose with dignity? No. It's a way to make it seem like you won, but in actuality, the verdict is you lost.
It's a moral victory.
Exactly. And that's what people don't realize. Moral
Yeah,
victories, moral victories are mentally crippling because what it does is it sets you back. It makes you think it's like you're in a virtual reality, right? You're in a false reality. You're thinking you did something good, but in actuality, you didn't do nothing good. And Floyd Mayweather didn't fall for that bullshit, and Andre Ward didn't fall for it. That's why when they was trying to steer Ward's career a certain way, Ward sat a few years through litigations and lawsuits. He sat a few years on his prime. He low key did a Muhammad Ali type situation because he knew if he would have just kept boxing and agreed to whatever they wanted him to agree to, they would have been steering the ship of his career, and he didn't want that.
right.
He wanted that shit to be on his terms.
The problem,
And Gervonta Tank Davis wants shit to be on his terms, and motherfuckers got a problem with him with that.
yeah, the problem I have with people saying that Roach got robbed is to get robbed, you have to clearly win a fight.
Exactly.
If the fight is close enough to be a draw, you did not get robbed.
Exactly.
You didn't get robbed. Even with the kneel down counted as even if it counted as a knockdown, even though he didn't get knocked down, he just knelt down. Even with that, that doesn't make it a win for Roach. The fight wasn't
Exactly.
that close for that to be the turn of the tide. If anything, that's probably what made it a draw. Roach
Yep.
threw 3 times as many punches and only barely outlanded Tank. He was very wildly inefficient.
Yep.
It was a great fight, but at the end of the day, a draw is acceptable. Any one of them could have won the fight. And when anybody can win the fight, there is no robbery. A robbery
Exactly.
is when one guy totally dominates the fight and they make him lose. That's a
Yep.
robbery.
Yep.
Pernell Whitaker Chavez was a robbery.
Yep.
That was a robbery. This wasn't a robbery.
Nah, it wasn't.
This was not a robbery.
Because in boxing, you have to definitively beat your opponent in order for you to take the belt away from him. And here's the thing here. Here's the double standards, right? Didn't Terrence Crawford have a recent fight against Israel Madrimov? And didn't he look bad in that fight?
Yeah, he got dropped in that fight.
I didn't see people say, oh, Terrence Crawford got robbed. I mean, Madrimov got robbed. I didn't see people, uproaring saying Madrimov beat Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford got exposed. I didn't see too many people doing that. You know what they said? Oh, Madrimov didn't do enough to beat to beat Terrence Crawford.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a tough fight, though. It was a close fight. So why does Terrence Crawford get the benefit of the doubt, but Gervonta Tank Davis don't get the benefit of the doubt?
The problem is when you're a fighter who pretty much dominates every time you fight, people they forget what boxing actually is,
Mm-hmm.
and they look at you as if every fight you have, you should win in that way. So if you don't totally like with Floyd, Floyd had became so good at boxing. If he had a fight where he didn't win every round, people would say that he lost that fight or it was a draw because he didn't win every round.
Facts.
So with Tank, when he has a fight where he doesn't knock someone out cold, they're automatically saying he lost the fight because he didn't get a knockout. That's not how boxing goes. That's not how boxing goes, man. Rewatch the fight. There's no clear winner in that fight. And if there's no clear winner, that means there's no robbery. That means if Tank would have lost, it would have been a robbery. That means if Roach would have won. I mean, if Tank would have won, it would have been a robbery. That means this draw means it's not a robbery. That means neither one of them was able to get the upper hand long enough to win the fight.
Yep.
But in most fights like this, believe it or not, the champion normally wins.
Yep.
This goes to show you that even the referees want to Tank to lose, and I mean even the judges want to Tank to lose. He just didn't lose because in fights like this where the champion doesn't do enough to win, he loses. There is no draw. Exactly. There is no draw. He didn't do enough to win.
Nope.
He didn't. But I'm of the mindset that he did enough for the draw. I will accept the draw. But he didn't do enough to win. Neither one of them did. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So because you want to see Tank lose because he's connected to Mayweather, that's bad faith. And you should probably stop watching boxing and probably watch UFC or something. Yep. Every boxing match is separate from what you feel about the person, who they get, how much money they have, the girl they with. When you take all that and decide from this just who I want to win, tired of this guy, man. This guy got all the fine baby mamas. He got all the money. He got all the cars. I want to see him take a loss. That shows more about you and how insignificant you feel about yourself. That when you see somebody who has things that you feel like you should have or things you will never have, and you want to see them take an L because they have things going on in their life, and you don't, that goes to show you're just miserable. You're just miserable.
Facts.
There's nothing about this fight says that Tank should have lost and it was a robbery.
Exactly.
People realize all because you don't get the desired result that you wanted to see in a boxing match doesn't mean you watched the robbery.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean you watched the robbery because the person you wanted to win didn't win. That's not how it goes. A robbery means there's no other way this fight could have been. There's no other outcome for this fight. This one guy dominated from top to bottom, and he still lost.
Yep.
Roach did not dominate Tank, and Tank did not dominate Roach. So neither one of them could demand a robbery. Neither one of them. Yeah.
Now we can get a run it back. We can get a rematch. Because this fight is very very reminiscent and similar to Floyd and Castillo, Floyd and Marcos Maidana. When it's that close, run that motherfucker back. Andre Ward and Sergey Kovalev, run that motherfucker back. You got to run it back. Deontay Wilder versus Luis Ortiz, run that motherfucker back. When it's that close, you run that motherfucker back.
Yeah, but I must say, they did more to win their fights than Tank did to win his.
Facts. And I agree with that. Yeah. They did do more. But what did they do once they heard the roar that, this guy won, They got on their shield and said it. Even Tank said it. Tanks immediately said it at the end of the fight. This wasn't like Pitbull Cruz fight where Tank definitively won with one hand, but boxing fans was trying to rip him off and say he didn't win that fight. No, he won that fight. Beat that man with one hand. The other hand was injured. He beat him. He beat him for boxing. This one here was so close that even Tank was like, "Yeah, we can get it back again. We can do this again. We can chop it back up again." He didn't fold from that. Now, me and you, we would have jumped and got on Tank if Tank would have acted like this shit didn't happen, and then he's moving on to the next opponent. And you know what this also shows? This also shows the difference between Gervonta Tank Davis and a Devin Haney. Devin Haney gets exposed, not close fight. He gets exposed by Ryan Garcia, and he doesn't even want to enact a rematch clause. He doesn't even want to run it back. He wants to go into lawsuit of, let me try to get the L removed. Shouldn't boxing fans be more abroad with something like that than Gervonta Tank Davis that had a close fight?
Yep. Boxing has had 3 franchise champions: Lomachenko, Canelo, and Devin Haney. You know what they all got in common? When they got exposed, they didn't want to get their rematch.
Yep.
That's the reason why they were made franchise championships to begin with, so they could pick and choose who they fight and who they don't have to fight. When they got exposed, they didn't want their rematch. Canelo got exposed by a Beaver and did not want to have the rematch.
No, they didn't. Because remember what the franchise is all about: win, lose, or draw. You still a champion, right? That's what the premise was. And the spokesperson behind that bullshit and fuck shit was Canelo Alvarez. Win, lose, or draw, you still a champion. That means no matter what the outcome is, you still a champion, which is bullshit. Because we saw what Bivol did to his face. We saw that Bivol beat this boy up so bad to the point to where he had to start doing WWE moves. When you got to start wrestling somebody because they beating your fucking ass and you are not a wrestler, you are a boxer, that means you getting your ass whooped.
Mm-hmm.
When you got a situation like Devin Haney to where Devin Haney has pulled the most bitch-made shit we've ever seen in boxing, the most whole card shit we've ever seen. I'm going to be honest with you. If Devin Haney has 1% of masculinity left in him, I'd be shocked. Because I've never seen this before in my life to where a fighter has lost a fight, showcased sore loser behavior to such a point, to such a degree, to where he's basically got fight fans and got a boxing commission to remove a loss that he deservingly lost. That's never happened in the sport of boxing. Never.
Right. Basically, that's what Drake's trying to do now. Drake is trying to pull a Devin Haney by suing UMG. At the end of the day, when you get through with all this legality, all this litigation, You still lost.
You lost.
You still lost. The world
Yeah.
will remember the day that that Devin Haney got the shit beat out of him. The world will
Yep.
remember that because it had nothing to do with PEDs.
Yep.
It was all skill. He didn't block any one of those punches.
Nope.
All
And
skill,
he
man.
made no adjustments, and he kept getting hit with the same shot. But you know
Oh,
what's also prevalent about this? The same people that the reason why you're getting all this uproar, right? And all of this back and forth, Devin Haney, Tank got exposed, blah, 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 blah. It's all of the Devin Haney guys. It's all these LDBC people. All of these people, because we have, lean on me. I'm always call the shit down the middle. I'm gonna always call it for what it is. It's those same motherfuckers. They mad that Devin Haney got exposed. They mad that Devin Haney got put on notice, and they was waiting for a moment like this. They're the ones dropping the
right,
content. They're the
right.
ones coming out the woodworks.
You know
If we're
what?
keeping it above,
You know what? When you own something, you own something, man. And when you
yeah,
think about it,
they're the ones that's pushing the shit, man. Because why is there such an uproar for a fight that you and I both know you didn't do enough to beat the champion? Where's
right,
all this coming from? It's coming from the fact that they can't get behind Devin Haney no more because Devin Haney looks like a laughing stock. He's actually a joke. If you go on X, anytime Devin Haney does a comment, fight fans remind him that you actually went and pulled a Drake and tried to do a lawsuit to remove your loss. Like they put him under parody. And now they can't even support a guy like Devin Haney. So you know what they do, which is typical of LDBC. When somebody loses, they get quiet.
mm-hmm.
They actually like they didn't even support the motherfucker in the first place. Let's be
Now,
honest.
yeah, but they're doing that. They're doing that to sweep it under the rug.
Yep.
Because if they speak, people are going to ask them why you not talking about Devin Haney. So it just goes zero. It just goes zero dark. They go dark, and then they wait for somebody to fall. Then hey, they come out the woodworks and shit like that. But at the end of the
Yep.
day, when we look at that situation, and we look at the Devin Haney and how he's moving, we have to ask ourselves, what is this generation coming to? Because this generation, they care about their favorite person win, lose, or draw.
The
Like say
facts.
for instance, when Devin Haney got exposed, got beat up and embarrassed, they started posting videos about everybody's worst moments. Like they wouldn't have found the video of Floyd Mayweather getting hit in the face, but like even Floyd gets hit.
Yep.
And same thing with Drake fans. When Drake got called out for being a child pleaser,
A
they
PDF
went
file.
they went and scoured the whole the whole Twitter looking for anything any rapper has ever said that's sketchy.
Yep.
At the end of the day, what does that got to do with Drake? You're
Exactly.
trying to justify something Drake did that's foul by saying he's not the only one who does it.
Exactly.
All that means is what Kendrick Lamar said: these predators move in flocks. It's not just about Drake. It's about all of them. It's not just
Yep.
about Devin Haney. It's about all
Yep.
boxers who can't take an L,
Yep.
who won't rise to the occasion, and then try to go to litigation and try to get out of it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. We boxing fans should be more disgusted with something like that, right? But they're not. You know what they're disgusted with? We never liked Tank. And here's the thing. You know what Tank is also you know why they also are getting after Tank is because Tank told the truth about Crawford. He said Crawford used to get folded by smaller opponents. He used to get dropped by smaller opponents. But then all of a sudden he's sturdy. Then all of a sudden Crawford can't get dropped and he's fighting bigger, stronger opponents. It's them snacks, I tell you. It's them
Yeah,
Victor Conte snacks. And then as soon as he said that, 2 days later, Crawford's on his soapbox on a podcast saying, I don't like Tank.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't like him. I don't
My
like the
man,
way he moves.
my man, you talk about boxing at 160. You talking about boxing at 160? Why are you talking about Tank at all?
Exactly.
It used to be dismissive. I remember Floyd being dismissive to anybody who it had nothing to do with him. Like, man, I'm not talking about that. I'm about to, you know what I mean? Like these guys be so thirsty to tear down somebody else. Crawford has to realize we're all not stupid.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, all of a sudden, you could just take mighty blow at the mighty blow at the mighty blow, and you just built forward tough,
Yep.
and it has nothing to do with Victor Conte, who's a known cheat in professional sports. Come on, man.
Yeah. It's like people brush shit under the rug. And here's the thing. This is what's also daunting about this generation, right? Even when facts are presented in front of them, they are so similar to the stiff-necked Israelites of those times when God was doing stuff right in front of them and they still didn't care. Or they still was like, whatever. Well, you have all of the facts in front of you that tells you that Victor Conte was giving performance enhancement drug and doping to Olympic level athletes. All of these athletes got medals either taken away from them, banned from their respective Olympic sports. A lot of them was track and field stars. A lot of them was baseball athletes. Biogenesis, Balco. Victor Conte goes into the pen and does time. But yet he comes out and y'all still, because y'all love, and this goes back to your point, they love a person so much to the point where they'll brush shit under the rug. But because he's working with Terrence Crawford, now we're going to sit here and act like Victor Conte didn't do all of this.
Yep.
And we're going to sit here and act like the same Vada that's already questionable because now we found out that Victor Conte is one of the secret partners that started Vada. So Vada should be questioned. It should only be USADA doping that we should be doing. Vada should be basically a conflict of interest. It shouldn't even be taken seriously because the same guy who helps starts it is the same guy who's sitting here and is able to push his products through it. Because if you start something, you can do the loopholes of finagling your product through it, and you go under the radar and nobody could tell you nothing.
Yeah, the problem, that makes just as much sense as the government when the government investigates itself. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
when they say the FBI is now investigating the president. Boy, at the end of the day, if they don't like the president, he's gonna get slapped on the wrist.
Exactly.
If they like him, nothing's coming out of it because the government doesn't really investigate the government.
Exactly.
They want to remain in power. And for them to remain in power, they have to look flawless, faultless, right? But these people don't understand. When it comes to Victor Conte is ruining the sport of boxing, man.
Oh,
think about this for a second. Think about this for a second. Carissa Shields, if she's not careful, she's gonna throw her career away.
Oh yeah.
Carissa Shields was never known to have boxing power.
Never.
She was just overwhelmed people with her skill, and she always had a strong motor. Now she has one punch knockout power.
Are you fucking kidding me?
That's not how fighting goes.
Exactly.
Now, once you know how to throw a punch with better technique, you're gonna hit harder, yeah, for sure. But she's had her technique since she was a little girl.
Exactly.
So where's this raw power coming from?
Exactly.
Either you got power or you don't. That's how it is. Raw power comes when you get raw power out of nowhere. That's PEDs, man.
Exactly. Let's just call a spade, man.
This how we know Muhammad Ali never cheated. Muhammad Ali started off having to overwhelm you.
Yep.
With shots, or unless he catch you with a perfect shot, you run into it. But he started off having to overwhelm you with shots. He ended his career having to overwhelm you with shots.
Yep.
He had what they call like incremental power, that more so he could hit you to the same strength for round after round after round, but it was never just brutal power. But it was hard, and it stayed hard throughout the whole and I know it's probably some young kids like Paul. I don't play Pauls. I'm a 41-year-old man from Chicago. We don't play New York games. But his punches were hard, and they stayed hard throughout a 12 round fight. Most fighters aren't like that. You know what I'm saying? So he had like, but he'll gradually overwhelm you. Some
Right.
guys have one shot power. Deontay Wilder, he had one
Yep.
shot power his whole career.
Yep.
It's always going to be like that. No matter who he gets in the ring with, if he hits you with that one shot and he catches you right, you're going to fall.
Yep.
But Tyson Fury never had power.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, he has power where he could walk down and not only knock somebody out, but break fragments of their skull.
That don't make sense.
That means he's cheating. And I
Exactly.
like Clarissa Shields, but I think she's cheating now, bro. I think
Yeah.
Terrence Crawford is cheating now.
And all of them are connected to Victor Conte, man. When you can sit there and you could finagle and finesse the lab reports and the lab results, because guess what? You are under the radar, one of the owners, then everything is compromised.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. That means you can do the back door, push your products in, and nobody's gonna say anything, man. When you got Michael Jai White, a respected celebrity that's been known to be top flight, he's removed in Hollywood, never compromising, never doing shit that, or never taking on roles that show him in a very precarious situation. He came out and said that I got it on good confidence Earl wasn't Earl that night. Motherfuckers didn't want to hear that shit. But this is a guy who's staking his reputation. This is a guy who's staking his livelihood. This is a guy who's staking his history of, look, I have a credible namesake here, and I'm telling you based on my credible namesake and me putting my reputation. He didn't have to do that. He did not have to take the time out to say that, but he said it.
Right.
That right there should have been enough to open people's eyes to be like, all right, something ain't right. And if you're smart enough, you could tell. Like, how does one guy go from getting dropped not only by Mean Machine, the motherfucker got dropped by Gamboa. People act like Gamboa stayed.
But you bulletproof against Earl.
But you bulletproof against Earl now.
That make no sense, man.
Make that shit make sense to me.
But think about it. I hate this for Clarissa Shields though, because she didn't need us.
Nope.
She's already solidified. Now, if it come out that she started cheating, it's gonna hurt her career, man.
But you know why she did it, right? You know why she did it, right? You know why you know why we do what we do. And when I say we, I'm speaking in general sense, not me and you, but in general sense. We cave in because once we see that bread, man, once we see them dollars, we cave in.
Right, she wanted more viewers, so she wanted knockout power. But bro, people who are in the know that something's up. The casual fan just seen the knockout. No, we know there's something different about her, man.
Yeah.
And I hated I had to say this. I didn't plan on coming to this live stream and even saying that. But the truth is the truth, man. And while we talking about stuff like this, I believe she's cheating, man.
Yeah.
And you know what? Now it makes sense why Mikey would dare to be great against Errol Spence.
Yeah.
Because he was on the snacks. But that was the beginning of snacks.
Yeah, that was the beginning. He didn't master the formula yet.
The formula was not mastered yet. So he got in there. He had the endurance part.
Yep.
Remember, he was able to go. He got pummeled. He was able to last the whole thing. He had
the PD showed it was strong because he survived.
Right. He had the endurance, but he didn't have the strength. He had the strength and the explosiveness. That part of the formula was corrected. So he used bro as a guinea pig.
Yep.
Against Earl and ruined his career.
I never saw it like that. I'm glad you brought up that point, man.
This is bad, man. But that's what he gets. Because bro thought he thought he was gonna get in there and he's gonna have a secret sauce. And he's gonna look like Mac. He's gonna look like Mac from Punch Out. You know how Mac small, but he be knocking niggas out. He thought he was gonna be Mac from Punch Out and got decimated.
And he got decimated. But that's why now we know why Earl didn't knock him out. It wasn't because Earl lacked the power to not knock him out. It was because when somebody is enhanced to that degree, to that level, it don't matter what punishment you giving them, they ain't gonna get knocked out because they own some shit.
Two things worked in his favor. Earl was dehydrated that fight, but even a dehydrated Earl could knock out a regular Mikey Garcia.
Yep.
So two things working in Mikey Garcia's favor. Earl was dehydrated, and Mikey Garcia had took them snacks. So he was able to get brutalized. He wasn't able to fight back, but he was able to take it.
Yep. He was able to take it. And it's crazy that you say that because how does Terrence Crawford have a fight against Madrimov? First fight at 154, and he's not definitively hurt at all in the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's taking shots that he took at lower weight classes that would add his knee buckle or would have him in a precarious situation where you're like, oh shit, Crawford's hurt. I've seen hits he took. I thought he was hurting those hits, and then he just like brushed it off and kept on going. And I'm like, the fuck? So this nigga's Terminator all of a sudden?
Salute to Jordan 6. He just dropped us $10.
Oh, appreciate that, Jordan 6. Where'd you send it?
He sent it to the super chat.
Oh, okay. Bet. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, Jordan 6. But yeah, man, I mean, Ross, to me, it unnerves me, right? And it annoys me that like when you look at the double standard and you look at how most boxing fans, they move based on others' opinions. Fuck fight fans, right?
Mm-hmm.
If somebody like Blue Blood Sports TV who has fake dreads or fake braids, I don't know what he's doing right now, but whatever hairstyle he has is fake. He gets it.
He definitely got a hairpiece.
Yeah, you got a hairpiece going on, right? So when you have a guy who even in his hairstyle is not real, you should already be questioning when somebody got announced to you 6-time WBO champion. Like, motherfucker, we already know the motherfucker is a 6-time W. We don't need you to tell us the stats. Get to the point. When you got a motherfucker that's like that telling you what's going on, you should be already questioning everything. Because the person's not even authentic to begin with. So that means the information they're going to give you is not authentic. So after the Tank fight, then you jump to say, oh, Tank's going to fight Jake Paul. When did Tank come out and say that? See, and
why would Tank fight Jake Paul?
Yeah,
Jake Paul like 250 pounds.
Exactly. And why would he fight Jake Paul? And this is the problem that I have with fight fans. It's like fight fans just believe any
right. That nigga got a man unit. Yeah, what you saying, bro?
No, it's now I'm laughing at what you just said right there because it's like people are not thinking for themselves. So he's just gonna go and fight Jake Paul all of a sudden after he just had a hard test against Lamont Roach. No, he gonna run it back with Lamont Roach, and now you guys are gonna and this is the problem that I have with fight fans. They should have put the respect on this fight if they were real boxing fans. If they weren't casuals, they should have put respect from the beginning. They should have known that this was going to be a hard test for Gervonta Tank Davis, because this is what people forget. Tank actually was going to fight an opponent that ducked him. Tank was in line to fight Loma. Nobody wants to say that Loma just clearly ducked him. This was the first time. This is how you know how dangerous Tank is. Loma was chopping at the bits to fight Devin Haney. Loma got scared to fight Teofimo Lopez. But immediately once Tank name got brought up, he was like, no, I'm out. I'm out of the contract. I don't even want this fight. That alone should have showed you the level of respect he was showing the opponent that he was going to fight, because he knew he would have fucked around and fight Tank late last year around November, December. He would have got drugged. Let's be honest here.
He knows that.
He knows that. So now Tank gets pulled out of that fight, And people are wondering why Tank is spiraling out. That would do that to anybody. That would do that to me. That would do that to Ross. That would do that to anybody. You having a chance, an opportunity to fight an opponent that's going to catapult your career into superstardom. That's going to make you basically that's going to put you on a Wheaties box. And then you turn around and that opponent basically was like, oh yeah, I'm going to fight you, and then don't fight you. Now you have to repivot.
Mm-hmm.
People don't realize behind the scenes all the work you got to do to repivot. Tank could have been like, you know what, fuck it, man, I'm taking a year off. He didn't even do that. And this is why you know fight fans are so fucking ungrateful. He still gave you a quality, basically, substitution. And Tank and them that reached out to Roach, you know that, right? And say, hey, do you want to fight? Tank didn't even have to do this shit, man.
Right. See, it's a big difference between a purist and a casual. So purists just want to see good fights.
Yep.
And most purists watch all the fights. They just want to see boxing for what it is.
Yep.
You know what I mean? The art it is, man, right? But you got casuals. So what casuals do, casuals look at shit and be like, how can I use this to big up my favorite fighter?
Exactly.
So if you're a Canelo fan, you'll use this to be like, oh, Canelo's still the face because Tank didn't get a knockout. Last time I said Canelo got his ass beat by Bivol, it didn't even do a rematch.
Yep.
So is that your king? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm talking about got whooped by Bivol.
Embarrassed.
Got beat bad. Got embarrassed. And now I'm trying to fight a smaller Terrence Crawford.
Yep.
You don't fall at light heavyweight. But
Yep.
now you want to fight Terrence Crawford?
Yep.
And you've been ducking around all these weight classes trying to miss the real fighters at these weight classes. You know what I mean? So if you're a Canelo fan, you're trying to use this to big up Canelo.
Yep.
If you're a Devin Haney fan, you're trying to use this to make Devin Haney look good.
Yep.
If you're a Shakira Stevenson fan, you're trying to use this to make him look good. That's what casual fans do.
Facts.
Because the truth is too boring for them.
Yep.
No, they must be grandiose, and they must find a way to use this to deep throat their favorite boxer. That's how they do.
Boy. It's the way you said that. And you said that was so casual because I said this and this Terrence Crawford, they hate when you say that. But me and you, we've had personal experience when we were live a lot more often last year when we had a Terrence Crawford fan that basically said he would pull Terrence Crawford's pants down and swallow him up and swallow his babies, man. That was disturbing, man. It got to a point where it was like me and you would even have to put up this dude's stats because the dude said I knew Terrence Crawford was going to win because of the size of his package. So now I have to ask myself, since we know in the light of this that fight fans talk this way, what other fight fans are thinking these things in a Tank versus Roach fight? Are thinking these things because now we have to think about this. And you know who started all of this? And I hate to put him on blast, but he was young. I get it, but at the same time, I think he was also wherever he was at, he was being worked by, the alternative side of things. That was Alistair 49 when he said the reason why I like Canelo Alvarez is because Canelo Alvarez is sexy. That was the beginning of us hearing these things from boxing fans. That was the beginning of us understanding that there's something going on with this Generation Z that's a little different. Now we have to ask ourselves, what does the Z mean in Generation Z? Does it mean Generation Zesty? Because now I gotta start asking.
Yeah, it does.
I gotta start asking if it's Generation Zestiness, because when we start hearing things like, oh, I root for Canelo because Canelo's sexy. Oh, I root for Terrence Crawford against Errol Spence because I knew he was going to win because of the size of his package. Now we have to ask ourselves, what is going on here? Is this even about boxing? Or is it about boxing fans ready to get on their knees and deep throat their fighters? Going back to your deep throating point. So now if that fetish is there, if that open-ended shooting your shot to your fighter is there, now we have to ask ourselves, is what these guys talking about, does it have any credibility behind it if you are sexually lusting after a fighter?
Right.
Now, how many fight fans? Now we have to ask ourselves, how many fight fans are thinking this way?
Many. Most of them are down
Because it
low
can't just
and
be
they're
one.
repressive.
It can't just be one.
Yeah. Most of them you'll never notice.
Mm-hmm.
You'll never know that they feel that way. But they'll say they'll focus more. They'll focus on the boxer's body, and they'll make that the big focus of the boxer. Like, man, you see how he's built, blase, blase. It's only so many times you could admit that somebody's built, and it's the way you say things, right?
Yep.
But these guys right here, it's more than just boxing with them when they can't admit no flaws with the boxer.
Exactly.
Like, you got guys saying there's nothing wrong with Canelo wanting to fight Terrence Crawford because Terrence Crawford is naturally bigger than Canelo. No, he's not. Terrence Crawford came in the fight game at 135.
Exactly.
Canelo came in at 154.
Exactly.
He's not
He's
bigger.
not bigger.
It's where you fight at.
In what planet? On what world?
It's where you fight. Yeah. He's not bigger. He's not bigger at all.
No, it's crazy and interesting you said that because now, Ross, we got to think about this, right? And let's take it a step further. Even before Alistair 49, because his brain obviously was warped and cultivated, we got to go to our generation. We had a guy by the name of Boxing Ego that used to talk about guys as V-tapers and how he used to love how boxers were oiled up and glistened. And see, this is why you want to see fighters oiled up, because you can see their full 8-pack. The way he was talking about Deontay Wilder was so disturbing. Look at this chocolate thunder. Look at this chocolate king. Look at this chocolate stallion. That's some shit you hear women say when they go to the strip club and they go to these male strip clubs, man. You don't hear men talking about men this way, man. And then having a whole segment where you're basically diagnosing the fighter's body and talking about, when you see this level of chiseledness, he's going to perform that well in the ring. I mean, this is disturbing, man. And that's why I asked myself, what is the true intentions behind these fight fans when they talk about these fighters? Why are they so gun-ho? They gun-ho about these guys the way your bitch would be gun-ho about you.
Right.
Like, you expect your woman to be like that. You expect that. But when you see men start being like that for other men, yeah, now everything, the gloves have to come off. So when you got a guy like Tyrone 720, and I can't help but to not forget his name, because he painted that bad picture in me and Ross's head that we still been trying to wash. We've been trying to pump this pilot, that thing out of our brains, man, when he said, I rooted for Terrence Crawford because of the size of his package. And then when we was getting on him, this was the first time me and Ross went on a roasting session, and he was like getting turned on by the roasting session. We had to stop the roasting session because we was activating this dude's moisture, man. We was getting him more turned on. Ross was like, all right, hey, look, man, we're gonna have to change this.
Right.
That's the first time in my life I've ever seen us get on somebody and roast them to the point that they was getting turned on by the roast to where we had to even stop the roast. Because usually when we roast somebody, they start getting in their feelings. Nah, this one was like, he was getting all happy.
Nah. Yeah. If they're bi-curious or they're gay-curious, they're going to get in their feelings because they're confused about their sexuality.
Fact.
If they're fully blown out there, you being a commanding, telling them they're wrong and being like a dominant force, turn them on. So when I realized, this dude, he's doing this on purpose.
Yep.
Like, he likes being talked to like this. Like, nah, I'm like, man, ignore him, man. For real.
Nah, but you know what's funny about that whole situation? Me and you, and I think that's why we ended up on the roasting, was when he had the nerve to say he had a woman and the both of them was looking at his package. I didn't know that happened in today's world where you have two people in a relationship and they're looking at
It's called cuckold.
package. Oh, that's what it is.
We call cuckolds.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, they're called cuckolds, man.
Damn.
But at the end of the day, Canelo fans will call. They'll call Bud. They'll call anybody a weight bully. Like Canelo didn't bring up Amir Khan.
Exactly.
2 weight classes to knock him out.
2 weight. I always
Come on,
2
man.
weight classes in a pound. That's how much Canelo was afraid of Amir Khan. People could say what they want, but to me, that showed that he was that afraid of his speed and his boxing ability that he had to bring him up 2 weight classes and 1 pound. It wasn't enough to just bring him up 2 weight classes. He brought him to 155. He said, "No, you're gonna do 2 pounds. You're gonna do 2 weight classes, and then we're gonna catch weight you on top of that." That's fucking crazy.
The problem people don't realize is Floyd Mayweather scarred Canelo for life.
Yep.
The way he beat that boy so brutally and so easily, it scarred him for life. So now, after that fight, Canelo said, "I'm never taking any more chances.
Yep.
I'm always gonna have unfair advantages in every fight. In every fight he's been in, he's had an unfair advantage."
But he did take that chance against Bivol because he was feeling himself. He thought he was fire again, and he was feeling himself, and Bivol beat the shit out of him.
You want to know why he fought Bivol? Because he knew Bivol was the weaker link.
Oh, okay.
Between him and Beterbiev.
That makes sense.
If he's the best, you fight the best at the weight class.
Yeah,
he fought the weaker link and got smoked.
Yeah.
When Canelo's done, he won't even be remembered. De La Hoya's gonna be remembered more than Canelo.
Yeah, facts.
Because we know De La Hoya didn't cheat.
So we see a common theme here with the Canelos of the world, with the Drakes of the world, with the LeBron James of the world. If they're no longer in your face, nobody's gonna be checking for them. These are guys that have to constantly be in your face for people to remember.
Because we know it's not real.
Exactly.
Think about it. We know there's a lot of marketing. It's not real. Do y'all remember? I don't know if some of y'all old enough to remember this. Do you remember how Vanilla Ice came and went?
Yep.
Vanilla Ice came and went. Because he was more he was a manufactured talent.
Yep.
He was a white man's MC Hammer.
Yep.
He came and he went.
Yep.
MC Hammer started before him and was still relevant after him. Bro came and went. Manufactured. Milli Vanilli came. When you're manufactured, you'll come and you'll go. And if you are remembered, you'll be remembered for being a clown.
Yeah. Once they saw that they was lip syncing, and that was God's engineering right there. Once they saw that it was lip syncing, it was like, oh hell no. Nah.
Vanilla Ice is not known for his hits. He has some hits. He's not known for that. Milli Vanilli is not known for that.
Exactly.
What is Drake known for now? Not his music. Drake is known for chasing around young girls.
Yep. PDF files.
When you are a hit or miss, you're gonna be gone. Soon as you're able to get off the scene, you're gonna be gone. And no one's gonna remember.
Crazy that Drake has all of these supposed hits, right? And he's done all these top charting things. And right now, he's in a position to where his career is damn near completely in shambles. That goes to show you that his career wasn't even built on a rocky foundation. It was built on a sandy foundation. Because for you to have all of this going on and then your career just off of a few disses, if your career was holding the test of time and it was sturdy enough, a few disses shouldn't be able to fold it. That's just like when Jay-Z went up against Nas. Jay-Z career didn't fold because he was sturdy. No. He had a sturdy career. But your career is so not sturdy that a few disses is folding you to the point to where now you have to do lawsuits.
Jay-Z actually became a bigger star after the beat.
Yep.
He became bigger.
Yes.
Yeah, man. So at the end of the day, bringing this all full circle.
Yep.
The problem is the sport of boxing need the overall governing body.
They do.
They need a governing body that governs either they need to bring all of the federations and the councils together,
Yep.
or they need to do away with them all and make one governing body,
Yep.
make one set of rules that everybody got to follow,
Yep.
have one unaffiliated doping agency
USADA.
that's not affiliated to nobody.
USADA. Because it's
They need to do all
Olympic level style. They don't play no games with nobody.
And if they want the fighters to fight the people who they want to fight, they need to open up the money.
Yep.
The promoters should not be making more money than the boxers.
Facts.
They need to facilitate that money around more to more incentivize the boxers to take the chances because they know they're going to get paid.
Exactly.
That's the only way it's going to work. As long as boxing remains a greedy sport where there's an oligarchy at the top that gets all of the money, and while the fighters they're not going to want to take chances.
They're not.
Why you think Al Heyman is thriving when everybody else is slowly getting worse and worse? Because Al Heyman is not with boxers. But
no, he's not.
You know what I mean? So yeah, that's all I got on this, man. For real.
Man, that's all that I'm glad you said that, and that's all I got on it too, man. I'm glad we hit all the points. We said everything we needed to say. And honestly, this is another thing that just showed us how disgusting me and Ross is just even talking about this. We used to be so long-winded when it came to talking about boxing, but no longer, man. We both have a bigger purpose in terms of what we need to be sharing with you guys and what we need to be telling you guys. You know, kind of like what we was talking about with Zoe Saldana and her being snubbed for for her not winning the Oscars and stuff like that. These are the types of things that motivate us. These are the types of things that we're way more passionate about than some fetish that boxing fans have because somebody saw Lamont Roach's package and was like, oh yeah, I like him. Like, we don't give a shit about any of these things, man. What we care about is exactly.
I'm working on mine right now. That kind of made me not even want to work on mine to just keep my regular vibe. I don't know who gonna be, if I go to the if I go to the beach, I don't know who's gonna be looking at me the wrong way.
That's why I don't, man. When I'm
as a man, you should be able to see that and not see it in a way like when we were little, we all had action figures and we all had muscles, but we just saw them as muscles. We didn't see them like, ooh, we didn't see it like it was sexual. You know what I'm saying?
That's why when I go to the beach, man, I go to different places. It's crazy that I was always like that. But any chick that I'm with, man, I never take my shirt off or anything. They're like, why you don't, you could show off. I'm like, look, for every woman that's looking, there's another man that's looking. The only person I care about that looks is you. I don't give a shit about none of that. I'm not insecure that I got to take my shirt off. Let them do that. Let whoever want to take their shirt off, take it off. And some guys, they just take it off because, they at a beach. I get it. It's hot. It's the sun or whatever. But me, in my mind, I'm thinking, who's looking at my package, man? Who's the, like, I get paranoid over that shit. I just cover up, man. Fuck the bullshit. Because the more clothes I have on me, the less your mind is thinking like Tyrone 720 on damn, look at this guy. Because I remember the one time when I was with my ex-wife, the one time we was in Hawaii, the one time I took my shirt off, some dude came up to us in front of her and killed her fucking buzz for 15 minutes talking about, man, what kind of workouts you do, man? How do you work out? Killed both of our fucking buzz just to talk about it. You know how annoyed I was, man?
Right.
And you know the look I be having on my face when I'm annoyed. She knew I was going to snap on him. I had to eventually tell him, like, dude, like, don't you have a wife and kids? Yeah, don't you have wife and kids? You left your wife and kids to come talk to me about this? Who does that? I told her, who raised you? Where they do that at, man?
Right.
Don't you see your wife is annoyed? She's looking at you. She's probably looking at you, wondering why you talking to me. He said, and this is what I told him, and that's what made him shut up, and he walked off. I said, you fucking around and have your wife come check for me, because the way you talking about me is like you giving me more importance than her. And then he pushed his head down and he went walking, and that's that day. I looked at her and she was like, "Oh, now I get why you don't do that." I say, "You see, I told you."
Yeah,
So
yeah,
they on. I put my shirt back on. Never again. Never fucking again. Because it's shit like this. Because now, Ross, I understand what you mean. Because now you got
right,
to deal with who else is looking at you. Who else
right,
wants the goods? And don't. Here's the thing too. Now, don't wear nothing too revealing down low to where your package shows a print. Now that's another thing too, because you don't know who's paying
right.
attention to your package when you're in the motherfucking gym. So these are the things you have to think about, man.
Crazy, man.
It's fucking
That's,
crazy.
that's crazy, bro.
We from a different genre, man. I don't know how these generation zesties get down, but in our genre, there's rules to this. There's Switzerland for a reason, man. There's just certain things you don't cross. There's just certain lanes you
Right.
don't pass. There's certain thresholds you don't get through. But I guess nowadays it's okay for guys to come up to guys, and I see this happen. Guys come up to guys, touch guys on their arms, touch guys, tap guys on their face and say, "Hey, man, what are you doing?" Man, back in our day, you touch a motherfucker, that hand is getting broken right then and there, man.
Man, don't touch me. Don't touch me nowhere above my shoulders or beneath my shoulders. You know what I'm saying? And it better be my shoulder, like
And it
with
better
the
be
back of my hand.
exactly,
Like, you know what I mean?
exactly,
Yeah, for real.
exactly, man.
Yeah, but that's all I got, man.
And that's all I got too, man. This live has been real. It's been epic. We appreciate everyone that showed up and showed out. Be easy. Peace.